So I've served over 1,100 clients in my 13-year career now as a marketing person. And what I can tell you is that 99% of the stuff out there online telling you how to manage clients is bullshit. So we're going to break this down today because after having real world battle tested experience with 1,000+ people, all sorts of personalities, all different stages of their business, all different areas of the world, I'm going to break down a handful of philosophies that are freaking bulletproof and will help you keep clients for 5 years plus. If you're wondering who I am or why the hell you should listen to me, like I said, I've worked with 1,100 clients. My name is Colby Wechter. I got my start in the digital reputation industry, then I went into SEO and then B2B. And now I coach 6-figure agency owners who are stuck with 50-hour weeks, but they're trying to get to 7 figures under 40 hours a week. I work with those people one-on-one to make those dreams happen in 16 weeks. So let's actually dive in. First, everyone is trying to overpromise and underdeliver. Now, I know they're saying outwardly that they are trying to underpromise and overdeliver. Very few people do that really, really well. Client management, 90% of it is expectation setting. They don't care what you really provide so long as you do what you say. So the expectation is how you keep clients. It's not your amazing service. It's not your amazing product. They don't freaking care because if the exact same thing that you provide came out cheaper, they'd buy that. So don't get it twisted. Expectations are where it's at. And the way you set proper expectations is not by just giving them all these amazing things that they can be excited about. It's actually bringing them down to earth. And that's the first one. You want to tell them right off the bat in the first week, here is what won't go well. The reason you want to tell them about all the possible areas where things won't go well is because you want to soften the blow if those things happen. And by doing so, if it does happen, you're good. They won't freak out. And if it doesn't happen, you're amazing. You kept it from happening. So you are good either way. The problem I see with a lot of agency owners is that they don't actually identify what can go wrong. They only paint the picture of this is going to be the best decision ever. And that means when something does go wrong, because hey, this is marketing and there's people involved and a lot of different tools that are going to break, the client flips out. And it typically is something that can be solved even in less than a day. But because the client had this expectation of nothing will go wrong, the moment you even put a word out of place in an email, they're thinking, if not actively telling you, how you're screwing up. And that's what you want to avoid. Along with this is if you're speaking with your clients regularly, which I highly recommend you do, you're going to be telling them about how the campaign is going, what's working, right? The problem I see with a lot of people is that when times are good, and you want them to be good, you want to deliver results, you want to double their traffic or double their revenue or whatever the hell your promise is, doesn't really matter. When things are going perfectly, I see this mistake happen all the time, is you only live in the positive. Now, am I a Debbie Downer? No. Again, 90% of keeping clients for a long time is expectation. And so what you want to avoid is creating the expectation that they're only going to go up, especially if you're not in control of the variables. For instance, when we sold SEO, who are we really catering to? The algorithm of Google. And I don't work at Google. Google changes their algorithm 25 times a day. We were actually promising something that we couldn't necessarily take total control over. So I told clients that I don't work for Google. I work within the confines of their rules. So they were super clear on what was actually happening. But B, every time we got on a call, even if their traffic had gone up like 50% from month over month, I would always use this framework. Here's a win. Here's something I'm watching. Here's something I recommend. So if their traffic was up at 50%, I would find something in their analytics or I would find something in their communication that wasn't amazing. And so if this really big number looks super amazing, everyone's really, really happy, or they have a record-breaking sales month or whatever, I would always bring them back down to earth with, hey, here's this thing over here. You're not necessarily answering calls in time, or they're going straight to voicemail. Or when I look at this page on your website, this isn't cohesive with the rest of it. I would always give them something that we need to be working on, because if it only ever feels perfect, and we had hour calls with our clients at the beginning, so if it was just positive for 60 straight minutes, I was doing something wrong. I always needed them to walk away with that call to have a reason to continue to want to work with us, because we still had more things to fix. That's another thing. If you actually only ever go up and to the right, clients will start taking that for granted, because then that becomes the expectation. And so again, they'll either find something cheaper, they'll kind of forget your role in it, or the moment something goes wrong, guess what happens? Another thing that I had been doing for years and years with clients over a decade, I didn't really realize I was doing it, but then I listened to a podcast where a creator voiced exactly how I was behaving and said, You always want to be answering your client's question of what's next before they actually ask it. And so I actually do this with my toddler a lot. In fact, I compare a lot of the conversations I have with clients with how I speak to my toddler, not because clients are toddlers, but just because that's the level of simplicity I am going for. And so part of keeping clients that's incredibly undervalued is they don't want to be up here in complex speech. They want to be here where everyone's on the same page. Don't speak to them like they're idiots, but speak to them clearly. And what I mean by this is answering that question of what's next before they do. So just constantly think in your head when you're speaking to a client, first this, then this, then this, then this. It's just a timeline in your head. So if you are about to sign a client, for example, and you want to get them started off on the right foot, you want to nail your onboarding, it's not some crazy complex thing. Nailing onboarding is actually, hey, the moment you sign, we're going to send all of this to you within 24 hours. Once that is done, you're going to have this within 72 hours. Once those things are in our care, you're going to get a tutorial within a week about blah, blah, blah. It doesn't really matter what it is, but you're telling them what to expect. Again, 90% of retention is expectation. The other 10% is the actual results you get, the customer service you provide, all that sort of stuff. You are in expectation management. You're not a marketing agency. You're not an agency at all. You are an expectation manager, full stop. So another one I see people make a mistake with all the time is that they are constantly speaking like in their business's language instead of the client's business's language, right? And what I mean by this, again, like if you rely on digital analytics, say like Google Analytics or something like that, you just stay in the data. You're like, well, our click-through rates went up a little bit and your time on site went like this and blah, blah, blah. Who cares? The numbers going up and to the right is their expectation. That's why they hired you. What they want from you when they actually get on a phone call with you is not for you to just reiterate what they can see on the page. Any report can do that, and that shouldn't be a meeting. That's just an email. So what is the meeting for? The meeting is for you to connect that to the value to their business. If they're trying to launch a new product, what does that time on site mean on the product page for their business? If they're trying to hit a certain revenue number, why does this number over here in analytics not help them hit that number in 3 months when the goal is set? Whatever it is, I'm just spitballing here, but always connect it to their bottom line. Ultimately, marketing is going to be the first thing to go if you don't perform or if their business is mismanaged. So you need to know their business inside and out. Specifically, what is the number one goal that they hired you to fulfill? You always reference back to that goal. If you're not doing that, you're just talking about numbers on a page. You are low leverage and nobody cares. So as you can tell from this video, I'm pretty intense about client retention. In fact, I have a saying, while everyone is saying you need leads, I say you don't have an attraction problem, you have a retention problem. And now you know that retention is 90% expectation setting. And the way you keep proper expectations is not have it perfect all the time, not tell them what's going to be amazing about it. Tell them what's going wrong. Tell them what's happening next. And then always connect it to them and their business. Stop talking about you, get your head out of your business's ass, and actually start talking about their business and why they should care. You do that, you'll keep clients so long, as long as you deliver results, of course, because everybody else is doing the wrong stuff. Speak about them, speak personally, and you're going to have a calm company that avoids unpredictability. If you can retain clients, congratulations, predictability. You don't have to worry about where the next client is coming from because you keep the ones you got. If you get results and keep clients, you can be able to upsell them. So now you have scalability. And if you can retain clients for a really long time and build systems around the business where you're not doing all the fulfillment, hello, freedom and autonomy. So I hope this video helps. I hope you got a ton of value out of it. If you have existing clients, start saying these things to them and watch how they change in terms of their demeanor and what they freak out about, because those are going to go way down. So you're welcome. Hope you enjoyed. If you got value out of this video, I do have a newsletter. I write this twice a week. I actually just pulled this entire video from a newsletter I wrote, so you can check out that post there. It's totally free. Just submit your email. And I wish you the best of luck in scaling your agency with less stress. Remember, you have a retention problem, not an attraction problem. We'll see you in the next one.